I thought it was a match made in heaven, a storybook beginning. We were riding on the train, back from work. I am 27, male, and my wife is 24, female. She's an accountant and I am a lawyer. That afternoon, I just won the biggest case of my life. I was going to head home, dress up, and join my friends to celebrate. While I was on the train home, I saw a beautiful woman sitting and flipping through her phone. There were people around, and I wanted to approach her. I was beaming with confidence, still high from the court case I won for my client. I approached her and we struck a conversation. I don't remember much of what we talked about, but I remember asking her to come out that night to celebrate, and she accepted. We hit it off quickly, and 6 months later, we were walking down the aisle. We wanted to start a family quickly, and it meant a lot to us to have a child at the early stage of our marriage. So we started trying for a baby on the very first night of our marriage. 3 months later, no show. She asked me, I thought this thing was easy as being intimate. So what is wrong with us? Why haven't I conceived after everything that we have been doing? I answered, it takes one shot for others, but for some, it takes a lot of effort before it happens. So let's keep going. We tried for a year and got no result. She got worried. I wasn't perturbed because I knew it would happen when the time is right. We tried for another year and nothing happened. I said, don't worry, it takes time, but one day it will happen. We are still young and we still have time. Another year comes to pass without a show. She swung into nagging mode. She keeps nagging. She expressed fear instead of hope. What if it doesn't happen at all? What if there's something wrong with us? To have all these questions answered, we went to a specialist. After going through a series of tests, the specialist told us that I have a low sperm count. He was confident, however, that modifying my lifestyle can change it because my count wasn't too bad. He gave a series of recommendations that would help improve our chance of getting pregnant. Diet changes, sexual habits, doing it during our ovulation to enhance chances of pregnancy, increased frequency 3 days near and after her mid-cycle, and a lot more. When my wife heard that doing it every day would increase our chances, she didn't allow me to sleep. She didn't allow me to live my life on days we were both home. She wanted me to live inside of her. She demanded it. It was stressful for me, but for the sake of peace and calm in the house, I had to obey and do as she wished. Just 2 months after returning from the specialist, she conceived. You should have been there to see how she expressed her joy. I don't have the words to tell you her joy the day we tested, and it was positive. She jumped here and there. She took a day off just to celebrate. She laughed for no reason and did a lot of goodness in the house just because she could. 2 months later, my wife stopped doing anything in the house. If it's cleaning she has to do, she would say, I can't do it because of the dust. You know, pregnancy and dust don't go well. If it's the food she must prepare, there was a reason why a pregnant woman can't prepare food. She stopped doing laundry because the scent of the soap made her feel like throwing up. I didn't complain. Whatever she left undone, I did it. I was cooking for her, cleaning the house, doing the laundry. All she did was watch TV and testing because pregnant women can't be stressed. When the pregnancy was 6 months old, she took a leave of absence from her job without even telling me. I found out when I saw her on the couch when she was supposed to go to work. I asked her if she was sick. That was when she told me that she took a leave of absence. I was okay with that because my salary was enough to keep us comfortable. When I got home from work, she was still sleeping at the same spot on the couch. She didn't touch anything in the house. Piles of dishes in the kitchen. I didn't complain. I didn't like living in an untidy place. I didn't complain. I took my time to wash the dishes. She was healthy through it all. One evening, her water broke and I sent her to the hospital. She gave birth to a boy that evening and we came home the next day, I think. Her mother came that very day to help take care of the child. Her mother made what seemed at the time as an innocent comment, but in time would come back to haunt me. That child doesn't look like any of us, she said. My wife's mother later said that his nose looks like her late husband's. I took that comment for granted and thought it was just old folks talking because you can hardly tell who the baby looks like when they are that young. When her mother was around, my wife left everything to this old woman and me. Her mother was a nice woman. She was not comfortable seeing me doing certain things, so she would take them from me. She would see me vacuuming, and she would stop everything to take the vacuum from me. She would see me cleaning the bathroom, and she would go like, "Ricky, just leave it for me. I will do it when I'm done with what I'm doing." Sometimes I do listen. I will go ahead and do it while she take care of other things. The baby was 3 months old when her mother left us. My wife started working again. We hired a babysitter that lives next to us. We have known her for years. She's a woman in her 60s that was retired and needed extra income. She had been my mother's childhood friend, and she do a great job taking care of the baby when we are at work. My wife leaves work late, and sometimes we need the babysitter to stay longer. Now here comes the issue I don't understand. Immediately after my wife gets home, she doesn't do anything else. The baby will sit on her lap while she sits in the living room, texting and sending the babysitter on errands, while the babysitter is still on the clock. When the babysitter finally leaves, she will start sending me around like I was a slave. At dawn, when the baby wakes up and starts crying, she will tap me, "Wake up," and pick him up. He wants to be walked around. When the baby is on her lap during the day, she doesn't do anything. At dawn, when there is nothing to do, the baby becomes my responsibility. There is a point I got tired and began to complain. I told her, "Your attitude started when you were 2 months pregnant. I put up with it because of your situation. For all the times that you were pregnant, you didn't pick a pin in this house. There's a baby and now you want to leave everything to me? No, it won't work. Snap out of your holiday mood and be responsible for what you ought to be responsible for." She was lying on the bed when I said that. She got up and sat in a way that she could be my height. She said, "Are you complaining? Do you know how it feels to carry a baby for 9 months? Have you experienced it before? Do you know the pain and the stress one goes through for 9 months before the baby arrives? I have gone through all that, and you want me to add domestic chores to it? What do you do around here?" Instead of a conversation, it turns into an exchange of words. She was not ready to listen to me, and I was not ready to take what she's trying to put across. We slept without resolving anything. The next morning, I baited and left the house. She was in the house when I returned from work. Used diapers were spread around the living room, and the baby was sleeping in the coat. I asked, "Is that where you would like to keep the used diapers?" She answered, "If it bothers you, you can gather them and take them to the trash." I did. It's not my nature to watch things go wrong. The baby would be crying at night, and I would ask her, "Haven't you heard the baby crying?" She would tell me, "If it bothers you, you can make him keep quiet." She doesn't cook in the house and doesn't clean. Her answer is, "If it bothers you, then you have to do it." She will be hanging the baby around her neck all day, even when the baby is sleeping. On weekends, when I'm doing laundry, she would throw her things in and ask me to wash them for her. The annoying thing is that the baby is her excuse, only when he's not crying. Immediately when he starts crying, her solution is to give him food. If the food doesn't make him stop, she will stop attending to him. When I complain, the baby becomes my responsibility. We have talked about it. I got tired of having arguments about it, and I can't come back from work and spend most of my time taking care of the baby when I was supposed to be studying. So I decided to hire the babysitter full-time. Things seemed to be working well for some time. My wife got too comfortable with the babysitter taking care of the baby that she wouldn't even come back home early from work. It was almost as if she gave up the responsibility of being a mother to the babysitter. I don't mind paying the babysitter, but I thought as a mother, she was supposed to be present, especially when the baby is still that young. The crazy part was that she wasn't this lazy before we got married. It was as if she was waiting to get pregnant before she started showing her true colors. One day I took a day off to do some research on a case I was working on. My wife left for work and my babysitter came early as usual. I was in my home office when the babysitter walked in. It wasn't uncommon for us to share pleasantries from time to time, but this time something wasn't right because the babysitter was crying. I was concerned that something was wrong with the baby, so I asked her whether the baby was okay, and she said that the baby was good. Then I asked her what was wrong with her. Her voice was quivering. She muted something that sounds like, "I want you to know that your wife was cheating on you." I asked her again to make sure I heard her correctly. I didn't believe what she said. I asked her how she knew my wife was cheating on me. She said that she had listened to my wife on the phone, talking to her affair partner on the baby monitor. She said that she was having an affair with her coworker, and it seemed like the affair has been going on for a while. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I've been slapped on the face. I sat on the chair for a few minutes, exhausted and confused. The confusion turns to anger. I wanted to call my wife and confront her, but some communication is better done face to face. From the explanation the babysitter gave me, I have an idea who the affair partner was. My wife was fond of one of her male co-workers. She used to talk about him a lot. I haven't seen him before, but my blood was boiling to confront him. All logic went out the window when I got into my car and headed straight to her workplace. As a lawyer, I knew that everything I was about to do would be against the law, but I didn't care. I was going to drive to her work and rip the guy's head off. By the time I got to the parking lot, saner mind prevails. The time was around 10 a.m. or so when I arrived at her work. I sat on the parking lot thinking about my life and how I got it all wrong. While I was still in my car, I saw some people coming out of the building. Then I noticed my wife walking out with a male and female co-workers. I was parked in the parking lot staring at them as they walked closer. I haven't seen him before, but his face looked familiar. I couldn't figure out where I've seen him before, but I knew I haven't seen him before. Then I realized that he was the guy my wife was having an affair with. That morning, when I drove out of my house to confront my wife and her affair partner, I was ready to cause a scene. But now, I am tempered and deflated. As I was driving back home, I knew my marriage was over. I called a buddy of mine that was a divorce lawyer to start getting the ball rolling. When I arrived home, the babysitter was still there. She was curious to find out what I did, and she was happy to hear that I didn't do anything crazy. I thanked her for letting me know. She asked me if I wanted her to leave, and I told her that she could stay and take care of the baby. As I was about to walk off, I turned around and asked her why she exposed my wife's affair, even though it means that she could lose her job if she finds out. She said that I was a good man, and it was difficult for her to see me getting treated this way. It was really hard to hold back tears, and I went straight to the bedroom to get myself together. When I got out of the bedroom, the babysitter was in the living room holding the baby. I felt like I needed some comfort. I went to carry the baby from the babysitter. With the baby in my arms, I looked in his eyes, and for the very first time, I thought he looked like the affair partner I saw this morning. The man that's probably having lunch with my wife as I hold my baby. That's what hurt the most. All the chores, all the effort I've been putting in was to raise another man's baby. I thought about what my mother-in-law said when he was born, that the baby didn't look like either one of us. It was so surreal. I couldn't confirm whether the baby was mine or not without the DNA test, but I have a strong feeling that he wasn't mine. The babysitter soon went home, and it was just me and the baby. When my wife got back home that evening, I confronted her about cheating on me. Although I didn't mention how I found out, I lied that I have been following her. She tried to deny it until I told her that the baby doesn't look like. Her facial expression says it all. She started confessing that it wasn't her fault and that she was afraid that she wouldn't have a baby, and she started having an affair to get pregnant, and that it was my fault, and if I have given her pregnancy, she wouldn't have cheated. I was heartbroken. There was still a part of me that wanted to believe that he was my son, but I knew deep inside that he wasn't. I couldn't stay home with her that night. I went to stay at my brother's house. The following day, we went and got an official DNA test on the baby. and I wasn't surprised that he wasn't mine. The lawyers have already drafted the paper, but she wouldn't sign it. She said that I am the only father that the baby knows and that my name is on the birth certificate. And it doesn't matter if he's mine biologically, that I am the father. I have already told her that she is delusional, and whether she likes it or not, I'll be getting a divorce. I have a lot of respect for my mother-in-law, but when I called her, I felt like she already knew. It seemed like everybody around me knew something was wrong with my wife, except for me.